Picture this. You've been lifting for 2 years. You've got your business to six figures. You drive a decent car. You dress well. You smell good. You're not awkward. On paper, you're exactly what every modern dating advice video says women want. But when you're actually with women, they're polite, not passionate. They reply, but they don't pursue. They say, "You're such a great guy," but somehow they never seem emotionally hooked. You carry the conversation. You plan the dates. You initiate. You care. And you can feel deep down that she doesn't. Meanwhile, there's that one guy you know, lives in a small apartment, drives a beat up car, average job, nothing impressive on paper, but women orbit him. They double text him. They get jealous over him. They compete for his attention. He cancels, and they still come back. You look at him and think, what does he have that I don't? What am I missing? Here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not about what he has. It's about who he is when he stands in front of a woman. And everything you've been told about what makes you attractive is either incomplete or backwards. Today, we're going to break that down. Not with cheesy lines, not with be yourself nonsense, but with hard psychology, male reality, and what actually creates emotional addiction in women. By the time we're done, you're going to understand why the more you care, the less she does. Why some men look objectively better but still feel invisible. And how to shift your internal state so women start chasing you without you becoming fake, manipulative, or bitter. Let's get into it. Part 1. The silent lie. You've been sold about attraction from childhood. You've been fed a simple formula. If I become impressive enough, women will want me. So you internalize a checklist. Get in shape. Make money. Dress better. Be kind. Be emotionally available. Be supportive. Don't be like the toxic guys. You do all that. And then you watch women ignore you. For a guy who does none of that correctly, that's the first crack in the illusion. Because here's the reality. Women don't fall in love with your resume. They fall in love with your energy. They don't get obsessed with your achievements. They get obsessed with your internal state. How you handle tension. How you react to their moods. How much you need them. How willing you are to walk away. Most men never question this. They just double down on the same losing strategy. Maybe if I become even more impressive, then she'll feel it. So they upgrade the car, improve the wardrobe again, work harder, try to sit straighter, talk smoother, look high value. And women still feel nothing because they're not reacting to what you show them. They're reacting to what you are underneath all of it. That's the first shift. Attraction is not about what you present. It's about what leaks out of you when you stop trying. Part 2. Why trying hard makes her lose interest. Let's be blunt. You can't try yourself into being attractive. The harder you try to, impress her, prove you're different, make everything perfect, avoid making her uncomfortable. The more she feels this one thing, he needs this more than I do. I'm the prize here. And the second she feels that, her attraction starts to die. Not because she's evil, because emotionally, attraction is not symmetrical. Men tend to chase what they want. Women tend to chase what they feel they could lose. Read that again. You're chasing what you desire. She's chasing what might disappear. So when you overcare, you always initiate. You always accommodate. You always adjust to her feelings. You move your schedule to fit hers. You check in when she pulls away. You're telling her one thing very clearly. My emotional world revolves around you. Her nervous system reads that as, he's safe. He's not going anywhere. I have him. And once she feels she has you fully, she stops needing to earn you. That's when you feel it, the dry texts. Longer gaps, less enthusiasm, less effort, less curiosity about you. It's not your car. It's not your face. It's your internal posture. You care more about her than you care about yourself. And she will never be addicted to a man who doesn't put himself first. Part 3, the value gap, where obsession actually comes from. Here's one of the most important concepts you'll ever understand: perceived value gap. Women only become truly obsessed with a man when they feel there is a meaningful gap between his value and theirs. Not value like money or status, perceived relational value. She asks herself unconsciously, who would struggle more to replace the other, him or me? If her honest answer is, he'd be devastated if I left, I'd be fine, you're done. But if her answer is closer to, if I lost him, finding someone like that again would be very hard. That's when obsession begins. Notice something. She can think you're amazing on paper and still feel like she could replace you easily. Why? Because everything you do screams, please, like me. I'm so grateful you're here. I'm terrified of losing you. And a man who is terrified of losing her is a man she knows she can always get back. No value gap, no emotional risk, no obsession. The guy in the studio apartment, he doesn't act like he's lucky to be there. He acts like she's lucky to be around him. Not in an arrogant way, in a calm, effortless way. He has a life. He has direction. He has standards. And he's ready to walk away if they're not respected. That's the gap. You, impressive life, weak internal frame. Him, average circumstances, powerful internal frame. She will always feel more pulled toward the second, man. Part 4, internal value versus external value, the thing nobody told you. Let's split value into two categories: external value, money, status, physique, lifestyle, social circle. Internal value, emotional stability, self-respect, boundaries, presence, ability to walk away, authenticity. Most men spend 95% of their time on external value. Most women bond to internal value. External value gets her attention. Internal value keeps her emotionally hooked. Think of it this way: external value, the cover of the book; internal value, the story. Nice cover gets her to pick it up. She becomes obsessed with what's written inside. If you look good but crumble under pressure, if you're successful but needy, if you're generous but terrified of conflict, she might like you, sleep with you, date you, but she will never be afraid to lose you. That fear of loss is the engine of her obsession. And that only comes from your internal value. You don't tolerate disrespect. You don't beg for attention. You don't chase when she pulls away. You don't over-explain yourself. You don't sacrifice your mission for her moods. A man like that is rare. Anything rare becomes valuable. Part 5, pre-selection. The real version, not the cringe one. You've heard that women want men, other women want. True. But most men implement this in the most pathetic way possible. Flirting with other women to make her jealous. Posting stories with other girls just for a reaction. Talking about how busy or in demand they are. All of that is transparent. Women aren't dumb. They know when you're performing. Real pre-selection is much quieter. You actually have options, but you don't flaunt them. You actually have a life, so you're not on your phone 24/7. You actually have standards, so you don't grip one woman like she's your last chance. She feels that other women would want you because you're calm, not thirsty. You're focused on your life, not her text bubbles. You don't panic when she pulls away. You don't pedestalize her. Pre-selection isn't other women like me. Pre-selection is, I like myself without any of you. That's what separates you from the guys who orbit her. Part 6. Neediness, the death of attraction. Let's define neediness properly. Neediness is not wanting her. Liking her, caring about her neediness is making your emotional state dependent on how she behaves. Examples: your whole day is ruined if she doesn't text. You can't focus because she's distant. You feel anxious if she doesn't give constant reassurance. You drop everything the moment she gives you attention. When your mood is tied to her approval, she becomes your emotional parent. And no woman wants to sleep with a man she feels like she's parenting. She wants a partner she can relax into, not a project she has to regulate. Neediness flips the polarity. You become the emotional receiver. She becomes the emotional giver. She's now leading the emotional climate. You're reacting to it. That's when she feels heavy drained, turned off, and she'll start to lose interest. Not because you did something wrong externally, but because your internal world is clinging to her like a life raft. Part 7. The men women get addicted. To let's talk about the guy she can't stop thinking about. He is not perfect, but her brain keeps going back to him. Why? Because he lives from a completely different internal code. 1. He's comfortable with loss. He doesn't want to lose her. He just isn't afraid of it. If she disrespects him, he leaves. If she plays games, he detaches. If she pulls away, he doesn't chase. Not as a tactic. It's just who he is. And that scares her, in the right way, because she knows he cares, but he won't collapse. He can enjoy her, but he can live without her. That gap creates tension. 2. He has a mission that existed before her. He's building something: a business, a career, a craft, a body of work. And he does it whether she's there or not. She is not his mission. She's a part of his life, not the center of it. She feels that. He's busy even when he's alone. He has things to do that have nothing to do with her. He doesn't ask, "What are we?" every 10 minutes. That stability is addictive because most men abandon their mission to win her. He never does. 3. He is emotionally steady, not emotionally dead. He can laugh, tease, be playful, be affectionate, but he does not. Panic, overreact, beg, spiral. She can be moody, chaotic, uncertain. He stays grounded. Her emotions bounce off him instead of dragging him underwater. To a woman, that feels like standing next to a tree in a storm. Part 8. Why women lose interest when you care too much. Now, the key line of the whole topic: women don't lose interest because you care. They lose interest because you care more about them than you do about yourself. When you cancel your plans to see her compromise, your goals to keep her happy, abandon your standards for fear of losing her, keep forgiving behavior that violates your boundaries. You're telling her, "You're more important than me." And the brutal truth: if you make her more important than you, she will never make you more important than her. You become the emotional underdog in your own life. Caring is not the problem. Where you place that care is. A man must care more about his mission, his values, his self-respect than about whether one person stays or leaves. If you reverse that order, she will walk. If not physically, then emotionally. Part 9. Your internal state. The only game that matters, forget. The alpha, beta, sigma nonsense. Your entire attractiveness to women comes down to one thing: how you relate to yourself in front of her. Not how you relate to her, how you relate to you. Ask yourself, do I abandon myself when I like a woman? Do I start performing instead of being? Do I say yes when I want to say no? Do I tolerate things I'd never tolerate from anyone else just because she's attractive? That's the core problem. You think the issue is not enough money, not tall enough, not handsome enough. But the real issue is I stop being me the moment I get close to a woman I want. Attraction dies every time you betray yourself to keep her. Respect dies every time you silence your truth to avoid losing her. An obsession, it only appears when a man doesn't betray himself. Part 10, how to actually shift into that powerful stay off. This is where most advice fails. They tell you, just don't care. Act like you have options. Be confident. You can't act your way there long term. You have to build it. Step 1, detach your self-worth from women. Brutal exercise. Imagine never having a girlfriend again. No relationship, no fairy tale ending. Could you still build a life you're proud of? If the answer is no, you're already handing all your power to women. Your life must be worth living with or without a relationship. So, build a body you respect. Build work you're proud of. Build skills that matter to you. Build a lifestyle that excites you. Do it for one reason, because you respect yourself, not because you want to impress anyone. Step 2, learn to say no without apologizing. You will never be attractive if you can't say no. No to plans that drain you, behavior that disrespects you, conversations that belittle you, dynamics where you're always giving and never receiving. You don't need to argue. You don't need to lecture. You just say no. And then you watch who stays. Step 3, stop chasing emotional answers when she pulls away, gets distant, stops texting, sends mixed signals. The weak habit is to ask what's wrong, over-explain yourself, try to fix her mood, chase reassurance. The strong move is simple. You mirror effort, not emotion. She invests, you invest. She withdraws, you refocus on yourself. You're not punishing her. You're refusing to abandon yourself. That's what creates the value gap. Part 11, the paradox. When you stop caring too much, she starts caring more. Here's the paradox most men never experience because they never cross the line. When you finally reach the point where you genuinely value your peace more than her presence, she feels it, not in your words, in your energy. You. Reply when you can, not instantly. See her when it fits your life, not when you're bored. Refuse drama, even if it risks losing her. Stay calm when she tries to provoke a reaction. Now, suddenly, she's chasing, she's initiating, she's checking what you're doing. She's nervous about losing you. Why? Because at last she's met a man who won't bend, won't beg, won't break. And that is the rarest man in her world. That's why women go crazy for men who don't care anymore. Not because those men are cold, but because those men finally care more about their standards, their mission, and their peace than about being liked. Part 12, the line you have to cross. There is a line that separates the 98% of men from the 2%. That line is this: I would rather lose her than lose myself. Most men are on the wrong side. I would rather lose myself than lose her. Every time you overgive, over-explain, over-pursue, over-forgive, you step further away from yourself. And she feels it. She sees the self-betrayal. It makes her pull back even harder. The men who win stop crossing that line. They can love a woman deeply. They can desire her intensely. They can be fully in, but they will never trade their self-respect to keep her. And that right there is the root of real attraction. A man who is willing to walk away, even from her, rather than walk away from himself. Part 13, what to do from here. Real, practical work. If you're tired of being the guy who does everything right and still gets left, watching women chase men who seem to care less, feeling like you have the resume, but never the response, then here's what you start doing today. 1, Start living like you matter, not someday, now. Block out time where no one has access to you. Gym work, skill building, reading, thinking. Those hours are sacred. You don't drop them for a date, a call, or a text. You're training your brain that your life is the center, not her attention. 2. Stop rewarding low effort. If she texts you once every few days, gives bare minimum replies, only hits you up when she's bored, you do not. Respond with essays. Keep inviting her out. Keep showing interest. You match energy, not fantasy. If she gives 2 out of 10, you don't give 9, you give 0, and move on. 3. Build tolerance for loss. This is the hardest part. You will lose women when you do this. Women who were used to you, always being available, always saying yes, always chasing. They will call you cold. They will call you changed. Good. Losing those women is the price of becoming the man who can have the relationships you really want. 4. Catch yourself in performance mode. Anytime you overthink your messages, rehearse what to say, pose your identity to impress, stop and ask, if I wasn't trying to impress her, what would I say or do right now? Then do that. That's your real self. That's the man who can actually create attraction. Part 14, Final Reality. Check, you were told, get money, muscles, and status, and women will come. What they didn't tell you, if you don't fix your internal state, you'll be a rich, fit, well-dressed man who still gets ignored, ghosted, and taken for granted. Women don't become obsessed with what you are. They become obsessed with how you are, how you hold yourself under pressure, how little you need their approval, how ready you are to walk away, how calmly you protect your peace. The day you stop making women the center of your identity is the day women start orbiting your life instead of you orbiting theirs. Not because you turned into a villain, but because you finally became the most attractive thing a man can be. A man who is fully himself, who respects his own time, who can live with or without her, and chooses her only if she actually deserves a place in his world.